Check. Natembea. Kichwa yangu iko half. Kwa screen.
You know my green screen. What's my kid? Once the show starts, you just stay there, man. The good thing is in a safe because you know now we have five different shows. Mike. Ndio nimewasha sahi.
Nilikwambia niwashe ukaniambia Z. Tulia. Oh. Testing mic. Hata najisikia huko. I was saying we have 5 different shows and we use this same table.
Yeah.
So it's just
The graphics that change.
Graphics that change.
Check.
Oh, nimeona hivi yangu kwa Luke. Kuna comedy nyingine hapo mseme
Na mic.
Love him. Mani zimenamrama mse. Ma predictions zimenamrama zote.
Predictions. Mimi nilipata Impala.
Wewe ulipata Impala.
Impala obviously Cameras.
Queens you both failed there.
Yeah.
Mwamba, I can't fault you. You have to go with Mwamba. But you said Homeboys, yeah?
Yes.
You said Homeboys. Hiyo KCB ndio ilirusha watu mbaya.
Homeboys walicheza na nani?
Mwamba.
Bomba.
Oh yeah.
Na KCB ndo lakini it was a nice game to watch.
It was.
It was end to end.
Exciting, eh?
Yeah, it was
I caught the repeat on
these guys were scoring a try, these guys were bringing it back. These guys were scoring a try, these guys were bringing it back. Mpaka
It's very competitive, by the way. Itakuwa very, very competitive. Nasikia hilo na msema ati watu arestiwe.
Nani?
Kenya Simba arestiwe. But it is a lot of nonsense. Arrested for what?
For Elgon Cup. Next year Elgon Cup.
Next year Elgon qualify hiyo World Cup ingine.
So umeshaambia tulie tu for the next 2 World Cups.
But the only son.
The only say.
Yeah. Somebody wants to be chairman somewhere, so but I insist on things that don't work.
In Dubai tuko na Fiji, Scotland,
Samoa, is it?
France.
France. Uzito mzee. Na nimeona Burahu au ndio nini? Ndio captain.
Last
Captain
time
Matata.
Dubai, how did he do? Okay.
We got to the quarters. We got to
Cape Town ndo ilikuwa mbaya.
Cape Town is on. After
3 points,
half from Cape Town side was uphill.
From Cape Town, after Cape Town.
Usually Dubai has never been the best of our trips.
very good evening and welcome to Try Time with me, your host, Mohamed Abubakar. It's another week, another show, and we have a great show lined up for you tonight. That is, we'll be talking matters Kenya Cup, and of course, later on the show, we'll be talking about the IRB World 7 Series, which is kicking off this particular weekend with the Dubai Sevens. Remember, you can be part of the conversation during the show or even after the show. The hashtag is TryTimeKE. Social media handles will be appearing at the bottom of your screen. Gentlemen, Mr. Benjamin, Ayimba, and Lavin. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Excited?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start off with some results here that are a little bit shocking.
Yes.
We'll start off with the match day 2 results. Of course, KCB losing after 2 years, I believe, in the Kenya Cup.
Yes.
First loss for them. Nondis shocking them. Should we consider this a shock now because Nondis have come good?
It definitely is, but and remember we spoke about Nondis picking up from the last game.
Yeah.
The tails are up now, and there are sides that are going to be very difficult to beat. KCB, on the other hand, I thought maybe unbeaten run is something that is theirs. So it was exciting to know that there's another team which is only rebuilding, being able to beat them. And as Kati said earlier, he's got depth enough to be able to make that happen.
Asego, your reaction?
All I can say is some of us have waited 20 months with jokes about KCB. So finally, after 20 months, we can unleash them. Yeah, as outdated as they may be. But like Ben just said, this is a very good win for Nondis because KCB has been the team that's been on form. And I was talking to some of their technical bench during the Floodies.
Yeah.
And I was telling them the standards they've set in terms of preseason and how they've taken their game, it's for other clubs to catch up. It's not for them to sort of slow down, but it's for other clubs to catch up. And I think all kudos to Nondis. I mean, they showed up at the Den on the day, and they've broken that unbeaten run for KCB. But you see, on the flip side, now at least for KCB, there's no longer that pressure of having an unbeaten run. You see, I mean, it's out of the way. It's no longer something that you want to retain. At least now, in my opinion, they can play a bit freely without that burden of having their unbeaten run on their backs.
And speaking on how they approached this game on the day, Nondis, what do you think they did right, Benjamin?
With coaches like Ben Nyambu and Foxy, who's been in the system for very long, they're known. This is the time. This is the opportune time. KCB missing about 6 of their very good players, and having just not really escaped through, but not having a very good match against the Oilers. That was a good indicator for them to really step up. And I think, and I didn't watch the match fully. I just watched snippets. The scrum, the Nondis scrum took the KCB scrum to school, and that is usually the point where KCB is very strong. So it was very good homework done by Ben Nyambu, who takes care of the scrum at Nondis. I think generally the game plan of wanting to play the game with in the tight quarter where KCB are very good was very courageous of them. Yeah.
Lavin, it was a very entertaining game to watch, especially for the neutrals.
Yes, it was.
Because KCB also having a go at Nondis. But where do you think they lost it, KCB?
I think for KCB, one thing, in my opinion, I think Nondis had a really good scrum, as Ben just said. And I'd like to highlight their back row, because their back row worked really hard. Remember last week I said if they were to give themselves a chance, there has to be tackling. And, and Kosh, who I think is one of the best number 6 this country has produced, it's only unfortunate that he's not had his chance at the national team. And there's also a player they call Baboon, former Cabras player. I don't know why they call him that, don't ask me. But their back row, I feel, worked extra hard on the day, and they denied KCB go forward ball. And also on the line-out, we had Sine, who was pretty solid on the line-out, giving them that good go forward ball, to the extent where you find Nondis scoring a pushover try against KCB means, like Ben just said, Ben Nyambu has really worked hard for them. But the other thing I highlighted last week was this half-back pairing. Mabwa and Juma. It's unfortunate Juma was yellow carded for a bit for a tip tackle. But I felt he played territory game brilliantly. And I was surprised to see that Jacob Oje, who's Simba, who was a 15s international, was a bit uncomfortable under the high ball. Because normally he plays on the wing, that's where he was played. And I felt he would have been more comfortable under the high ball, but Juma capitalized on that territory. And on that particular day, I think Nondis, they just played their cards really well. KCB they're not quick off the blocks, and that's why you see early in the game, Indimuli came in, and you know Coach Kat is not afraid to make early substitutions.
And you did mention the yellow card, because they got 2 yellow cards in Nondis.
Yes, they did.
And just after the first one came back, another yellow card. So they spent almost 10 minutes, 20 minutes,
20 minutes, yes.
with one man.
Yeah,
less.
it's
How-
a very
how does-
unfortunate thing. And actually, in any circumstance, especially with a tight game like that, it is those that lose players that usually lose. Because 10 minutes is a long
Yeah.
time for have any
Exactly.
dependable player out.
Yeah.
And Harlequins also suffered the same thing on the receiving end on the day. But
We'll
that
come
was
to that, Benjamin.
yeah, it is very commendable
Yeah.
of Nondis having lost those players and won those games, won that game.
All right, let's have a listen to what the coaches had to say after that encounter.
It was very, very tough. We had to rejig a few things, as you saw certain people moving into certain positions just to cover the vital areas. And I'm happy about the guys who stepped in and no heads going down and just working hard, because that's the Nondis brand, working hard. We had 9 points, target was 10, but we had 9, we'll take that and carry on. Yeah, we knew if KCB had scored and they converted, we were out. So it's a good, we're lucky that the ball fell on our side.
You don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. So this time we didn't buy the ticket, we didn't win the lottery, and winning and losing is part of the game. I mean, it's just us picking ourselves up and then looking at the next game and correcting the mistake. Off the kick chase, our chase pattern was good, but we are not clear. We are not finishing the tackles. I mean, the tackles just let us down. The tackle just let us down. And Nondis, to be fair to Nondis, they put us under pressure, and that's commendable. That's good work. I'm not missing my key players. I'm not missing anyone. Game is game.
Another interesting thing that Coach Willis pointed was the fact that they had scored 5 tries and only managed to convert 1. And in the long run, it's something they need to work on.
Definitely, points against and points for usually. At that point, they really matter, because they've left 8 points begging. So he needs, of course, to work on his kickers. And he's got pretty decent kickers.
Yeah.
So with a bit more practice during the week, he should be able to sort that out. I don't think it's a problem. Scoring tries is very important though, because of the bonus point.
Exactly. You still feel KCB are not? I mean, like what Curtis said, he's not missing his players. Or it's key that they...
Well, I think personally I respect him for still sticking to his principles about using the players that he has available to him, because he's entrusted in the system that has given them the title back-to-back.
Yeah.
But I have a sneaky suspicion that we might see some of the Simbas on the bench, at least for the next game, which is a bankers derby against Mwamba, because Curtis is a back-to-back loss for KCB. Will be abomination. So in as much as he says he's not missing his key players, there's I think 1 or 2 positions that I feel he will put players at least on the bench, not starting, because I mean it's a 1 week or 2 week turnaround, but at least we expect to see some of key players in key positions at least on the KCB's bench for the next fixture.
Benjamin, Nondis, the few seasons that have passed, they've been missing out on the playoffs sometimes. What do you think has been the difference this year?
Nondis has built a side now. For the last couple of years, there was a deliberate move for Nondis to bring in players from whatever it is and grow those that they've had. Most of Nondis players have been drawn from Nairobi University. Yeah. A few of them from Kenyatta University. Then they picked 1 or 2 from Kabras, and they managed to retain them in the last couple of seasons. So that gelling is now coming together. It might not be this season for them to really shine at the top, but already you can see the result.
I think, sorry, just to add something small. In my opinion, I think one of the most underrated number 12s in this country is Benji Marshall, the Nondis center. And I wish in my playing days I would have been given Benji Marshall as my number 12. I've played with pretty solid 2 number 12s. But I feel Benji Marshall, his full potential is yet to be experienced. And Nondis are sitting on an asset that, in my opinion, is a very little asset if they know how to utilize it.
A
Yeah.
lot still to come from him. I
Yes,
mean,
definitely.
we're expecting a lot from him. Talking about the second game right now of the day, the University Derby. Strathmore. Again, another prediction gone wrong.
Yes.
Min Machine taking this one, 23-10 against Strathmore.
Let me just say this. I'd predicted a Strathmore win, but the moment I saw their kicker kicking off a rugby jersey, I don't know where the kicking tee was. I don't know what happened. I knew there was no way the Leos were going to win this game. If you have a penalty in front of the post, why are you putting the ball on a rugby jersey to kick it? At worst, put a boot. But Johnny, someone needs to be fired. Your sole job is to carry the kicking tee because they missed that they missed that penalty, and that would have been a getting points on the board the first time is very important for your momentum. But I think on the day, the game was pretty, I mean, it was all over the place, and Machine thrive in confusion. That helter-skelter type of game, you cannot beat Mean Machine.
And even speaking on that particular conversion, it would have helped with the bonus point.
Yes.
They would have closed the gap.
Yes.
What do you think Mean Machine did right, or rather, where did they punish?
I think maybe the preparation, and like Lavin says, preparation is everything. If you can't find a T out of even the same club, which is KCB, KCB probably have training tees all over the place. If you can't find that, because the referee will allow you to find a T. If you can't find that, then there's something wrong. And I don't know whether Mean Machine knew that deliberately, that now that these guys look ill-prepared, we're going to have a go at them. But as Lavin said, this is a side that plays off your mistakes. Yeah. And Machine are well known to do that ever since. So there are sides that have nothing to lose and a lot more to gain by getting those scalps. I think Johnny's side's undoing was the preparedness. I honestly think things like kicks for now, especially if they're early on in the game, ought not to be missed. Like you said, that kick would have made a whole lot of a difference. A bonus point is pretty good in this tight situation. So they lost that bonus point because of lack of preparedness, and as Lavin says, Johnny needs to get somebody's head.
All right, we managed to also talk with the coaches, John Bai and Ramsfield Matekwa. This is what they had to say.
For us, I'm just disappointed that we gifted Machine easy points. I think we didn't play the way we should have. A lot of inexperience showed just in decision making. There are a couple of good breaks we made. You had people being in a hurry to do a lot of offloads unnecessarily instead of just being patient and setting up plays. So something we'll work on. Good thing, something that can be fixed. But I think we need to do it to work on it and fix it very quickly. As I said, Machine are a good side, and they ride a lot on that mental strength and the psyche to play. And them having beaten Strathmore in the past, I think they always picked this game as one of the games that they wanted to get some scalps on. So for us, I just think we just let ourselves down with decision making, being too much in a hurry to score. Sometimes you just need to play a couple of phases.
Feeling so much fine and fantastic so much, because actually from the beginning we were in for this game and we've done it. Playing against Strathmore side, we knew the structure that the coach was going to put in, so we really worked on them to counter-attack them, and also on the line-out we were super on them. Plan for the future, we really need to compose ourselves to at least work on our simple mistakes that we've made, so that we can make them so stronger on our side.
All right, Lavin, your reactions?
I think Johnny has put it very well. They were beaten of a hurry to score, a bit of offloads that they should have kept the ball. Yeah. And if you notice, you've seen the try that they scored center post. It's one of the very few lineups that they got right and set up the maul. So if they got their set piece, they had given themselves a chance to score. The patience wasn't there. Maybe he's attributed it to a bit of inexperience. Yeah. But for them, I feel if you were to give yourself a chance at getting points and opening your account in the Kenya Cup, you really need to get your set pieces right. And be patient, because we have Baraza, who's one of their best players, but the offloads in the tackle, if it doesn't go to hand, if it does go to hand, it looks beautiful. But if it doesn't, that you're losing possession and you'll be punished for that, as Mean Machine did to the Leos.
Mean Machine had a very good kick as well.
Yeah, he did.
Them a lot of points.
Yeah. You see, that's how you extend the lead. Exactly. By getting those 3 points, 2 points. Yeah.
All right. Very quick reaction, maybe, Benjamin?
I think for Johnny, though, his work is cut out now. He's had 2 losses in a row, and one against the team that they ought to have won, because of given the type of organization his team has. They ought to have won. It ought not to have been an obvious one, but which I think they probably approached the game that way, because of the play that Machine in the University Championships before, and they had expected the same outfit to come out. And like I said before, this Machine would have 2 or 3 games that they'll be chasing in the season, and this is one of them. So they come out serious. So it's just unfortunate that Strathmore did not play as clinical as they were meant to have, and they were punished for that.
All right, other results across the country, 4 more matches. We'll start off with Mwamba losing this one 18-22 to Homeboys. Love it.
Let me just say, if rugby was a game of second half, Mwamba would be the top of the table at the moment.
Oh, come on.
Because once again,
Yeah.
Mwamba left it very late, and they were chasing the game.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened against Kenya Harlequins. And once again, unfortunately, if in the Kenya Cup, if you don't start quick off the blocks, your chances of winning that game are very slim because team are very tactical. And when you're chasing the game, the clock is against you.
So it was a slow first half for Mwamba?
Very slow first half. They conceded a try at the end, at the whistle before halftime. It's never good to concede the halftime. The Homeboys forwards dominated Mwamba. They bullied them. Steve, a.k.a. security. He stamped his authority at the base of the scrum. I felt Mwamba fell off the tackles a bit easily. And the same thing, the Homeboys have big forwards. So if you don't front up on your tackles, you're on the back foot throughout. But Mwamba, the few balls that they got and spread it to the backs, they did a bit of damage. But unfortunately, it was a little too late. Just a losing bonus point, that's all they could get from this particular game. But if Kenya Cup was a game of second halves, you're unbeaten.
Tapeleka petition. We have
to start thinking about second half more.
All right, Benjamin.
Yes.
Simon first win, the Kenya Cup. How important was this win?
I think for him it was good to build the confidence of the players that he has. There's quite a few again out doing who are doing national duty on that weekend. So it was good for him to even just for his confidence that even without those players he was able to scrape this win, because Mwamba were going to be very 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 good on the day. It's unfortunate that they only fired again in the second half. I thought the coaching bench should have actually looked at what went wrong in the Harlequins game to sort it out, because settling, like Lavin says, settling in the second half, usually anybody who's leading wants to protect his win, so it's a very difficult one. Hopefully they'll sort that out, because if they do, then they're definitely on a dangerous side.
Very well said there. Now, if you think the Nondi's KCB result was a shocking one, wait until you hear this one. Oilers beating Queens by 14-8. Again, you were there, you saw the game. What do you think Oilers did right? After the receiving end in the first.
Oilers are very, very hard workers. They work as a unit. They're very efficient. They rarely lost any ball that was there, and they defended for their lives. They put Harlequins under so much pressure. Harlequins knocked on the ball twice in the try line. So that shows immense defense technique. So I give them that. They work so very hard off the ball and on the ball. And they're a side that anybody who's playing them ought to really be watchful. I think Coach Gibu has given them and plus this win has given them the confidence to now face any team they got. And I think Harlequins, those lapses of concentration quite a few times. There's in 2 occasions they got some of the very good players sent out because of discipline. So it was a game that Harlequins ought to have won, if not comfortably, but just won, because those 2 tries have made a huge difference.
Lavin.
I think picking up from the game Harlequins played Mwamba, they also got 2 yellow cards. So in terms of discipline, I think something needs to be done about their discipline, because you can't play rugby with 13 men and hope to achieve the results, unless you're Nondis. But for Coach Gibu, I think that's a good win for him. Like Ben just said, if you don't have, quote-unquote, the big names, all you can do is have strength in numbers. And you defend as a unit, attack as a unit, play as a unit. But we are yet to see how they'll fare on towards as the season progresses, because it's a long season. That's why we keep insisting that they need squad depth, because it really gets a bit tiring towards January, towards February, when you get towards the playoffs. But all in all, it's a good win for them. I think, like Benja said, they're a formidable side, especially at home. you know, the teams in Nakuru, Wanyore and the Oilers, at home, they make it their fortress.
Exactly. All right, very quickly, because of time, we want to take a break. The other two results, Impala beating Nakuru, 26-22, and Cabras.
One of the predictions I got
You got right.
I think Nakuru, they're in an interesting period where they have new players. They've lost quite a number of players to other clubs, but Impala have a more solid unit that they've had for a long time. That's why I felt on this particular day, they would carry the day.
Benjamin's favorite, Cabras, beating Black Blood.
Yeah, that was, if they didn't do it, then they would have to shut down the sugar factory. So they're just doing their job, and they did it well.
All right, we've taken a look at the results. We'll be taking a short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the table and the upcoming fixtures.
The drums of war have been sounded. 20 teams are out to fight for ultimate glory.
Right foot, wonderful try!
It's the National Super League, Kenya's rising stars, chasing promotion to the Premier League.
Absolute stunner!
Witness every cut, every shot. Live and exclusively on Bamba Sports, Bamba TV Channel 6.
All right, welcome back to Try Time with me, host Mohammed Abubakar. In the first session of the show, we've been talking about the results from Match Day 2. We'll be taking a look at the Match Day 3 fixtures in a few, but before we do that, maybe have a quick glance on what those results in Match Day 2 mean and shape up the table in the Kenya Cup. We'll have that in a few, right? It's up there. Cabras currently leading. We know it's just 2 games in, gentlemen, but this is how it's shaped up so far. Nondescripts, Impala, 1, 2, 3, KCB number 4. Did you imagine it would be like this after 2 games, gentlemen?
Yeah, it's other than Cabras at the top. It really did not, in my mind, never resounded in that manner. So, and we only played 2 games, so we're looking at another grueling 9 games, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, before anything else happens. So, it's too early to call.
And then one position we might talk about is Menengai Oilers, that win, pushing them all the way to 8th. That must have been a good one for them.
Yeah, definitely. You see what one win can do for you on the table. And I mean, it's good to see the table. Ni mchanganyiko maalum. One might be faulted, not be faulted to think it's upside down with Nondi's number 2. But all in all, I think it's an interesting season up ahead.
It will shape up in after a few matches.
Yeah, obviously, the more mature sides are going to be seen in the 4th, 5th games. And like Lavin has said earlier, in this marathon that the Kenya Cup is, you need to have proper depth because unlike the traditionally strong teams, the teams like Machine, for example, won't have the depth to get quality players off. Oilers might struggle a little bit. Nondis now might struggle a little bit when they lose one or two players. So you'll find the traditional sides that, especially those that lend their team to their players to the national team, are going to be a lot stronger come the 4th, 5th game. So it will be an interesting twist to see because having won a few games and at mid-table, there'll be a lot of fight because the senior teams want to stamp the authority. Yeah. If they didn't do it earlier, then the whiplash is going to be very tough on the smaller sides.
All right, gentlemen. Match day 3 fixtures. Mwamba, you wouldn't have been happier to receive KCB after that second result.
KCB, we're facing a wounded lion. I mean,
exactly.
It's tough. It will be tough for Mwamba, especially traveling to the Den. All I can urge Mwamba is don't start slow off the blocks because KCB is a much more organized side than the Homeboys in the forwards. So if you start slow, it will be a very long day at the Den. But in terms of predictions, you know where my allegiance is.
Harlequins, Homeboys.
That's an interesting one. I think Homeboys have players who have gone to Dubai Sevens, and they've got players who returned from the repechage.
Yeah.
there was communication out that the players who went for repechage ought to be rested, but in this case, I don't think they'll rest their players. So that's going to be an interesting one. I give it to Harlequins because I think they're a team that is getting momentum going forward.
All right, very quickly, gentlemen. Bamba Sport will be just on the other side of the wall, showing 2 matches live. Nondescripts and Menengai Oilers facing each other at 2 p.m. on Saturday. And of course, the second game, Impala against Strathmore. Very quickly, let us just do predictions here. How do you think the first game would go?
I think it will be a Nondis win, especially them having their awards dinner and having the former England international Mike Cut in the country. So it's a good momentum for them, and they have their tails up. I mean, Oilers, they're traveling to Nairobi, so that could be a factor. I'm going for a Nondis win. Yeah.
The other fixture, Impala, Strathmore.
I think Impala will have it. They're back at almost to full strength now, and Strathmore don't look like they really want to get off the blocks.
Get a kicking tee, Strathmore, please.
Get a kicking tee.
Yeah, I think Impala will have that one.
They'll help them with one.
Impala are good.
Cabras Nakuru.
I think Cabras will have it.
Lavin.
Yeah, I'm calling Cabras because Nakuru are traveling to Western. Yeah.
Traveling is a big factor.
Yeah, especially for the Nakuru teams, they don't travel too well.
Yeah.
Black Blood, Mean Machine, another university derby here.
Yes. I think
Wamekula mboko.
Kabisa. So I think Machine's tails are up now that they won last weekend's game. And these are the sort of sides that use the momentum to go into the next game. So I give it to Machine.
I'm calling
I haven't seen Blood play.
I'm calling a Black Blood.
They're at home. Black Blood.
Yeah, I'm calling a
Black
Blood.
Are they at home?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Are you changing your mind?
Yes, I could change my mind. Black Blood play very well at home, and I think they've got good support back home, and that should be able to give them some impetus. So I've changed.
You've changed, eh?
Yes.
Black Blood. And then obviously the Mwamba KCB one, Mwamba for Lavin. Just do it for ourselves.
I think I'll do KCB because the KCB will not rest any of the players for the repechage. Curtis is too proud to lose. He's too proud to lose, and I'm sure. Yeah, I know. I'll call him tonight, and I know he'll
but then you know I rooted for you.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, I know he's watching.
Yeah.
He will play his best players. Yeah,
and you can do the honors for him, or rather, you do it for him for Harlequins and Homeboys. Who do you think? The prediction.
I'm calling the Homeboys.
Homeboys.
Yes.
All right, it's interesting. Let us know what you think about the upcoming fixtures in match day 3. Very well, before we wrap up the show, we have to talk about the Dubai Sevens, IRB 7 series starting this weekend. How excited are we, gentlemen?
Very excited that the season is starting. Not very excited about the situation that we're in. As is, we were discussing it earlier, and we are always going into the season having struggled about preparations, getting new coaches on board, getting players to sign contracts and things like that. We don't have, like right now, we've lost almost 7 of our good players who played in the last season for one reason or the other. The repechage going on and not being able to sign contracts. So it's usually this time of the year for us is very difficult.
It leads to a slow start to the season.
And looking at the teams that we have playing against in Dubai, we have Fiji, Scotland, and France.
Pool B.
Yeah, I mean those are teams who on day one you sleep and they can soak in 40 points. So I mean, Ben just talked about preparation. It's unfortunate that we didn't have the best preparation. I can't remember the last time we had a good preseason preparation. But all in all, new coach, new players making their debut. I know there's Daniel Tabu, Johnston Olindi, some of the players making their debut. All I can say is brace yourself, gentlemen, because it's the IRB. I have a feeling they'll learn a lot from that experience. And hopefully, let's hope for the best in terms of results.
And in terms of the squad that has gone, we had few people to pick from. I mean, from the ones that we usually have.
Paul has had to contend with picking players that before were really good and have missed a season or 2 in between. And that's because he needed a bit of experience there. He's got a lot of young players. The only good thing about that is that they start getting experience early. However, it's going to be a very, very tough lesson for them.
There's a university boy here as well from Black Blood.
Yeah, Brian Wahinya.
Brian Wahinya.
Yeah, he's been one of the outstanding players in the local circuit. Looking at that squad, I think I'll look at the more quote-unquote experienced players, Jeff Oluo, Chaman Humwa.
Yeah.
There's also Samuel Motari, who won the
Singapore
Singapore
series, yes.
There's Alvin Otieno, Dennis Ombachi, and Leonard Bugaisi. So those are some of the players who've had IRB experience.
And even Eden, the captain.
Yeah, and Eden, the captain, who's been there for a while. So hopefully the younger players, the players making their debut, can ride off the experience of those guys. But if I'm seated here saying that Dennis Ombachi is an experienced player, tells you the youth in that particular squad, because that's one of the most experienced players in that team, and it's Dennis Ombachi at I think 24 or something.
25
yeah.
So it's a pity. For me, if I look at that side, I look at the future of Kenya Rugby, because Tabu was outstanding in how he played in the local circuit. I think he's one of the most recent finds, and I think for me he's the Lavin 15 years ago that we had. So I see a very good future in that. It will be a very difficult start, but there's players in there that are game winners, Ombachi being one of them, Eden being another, and the likes of Mombasa will work off them and get that experience.
And the fact, Coach Paul as well, do you think that's the way he would have gone even if other players were available, with the way he trains? And
knowing him, he definitely pick the more experienced over the younger ones, but I know he would always have two or three, for the
especially for the different legs, maybe.
Yes, because
the experience.
When I worked with him, he's quite passionate about bringing in the younger players in, and because eventually these players are the ones that save you towards the end of the season. Like if you remember in 2016, what helped us most is having exposed all the young players. So we had about 6 rookies in a team of 12 who won the Singapore Sevens. So he knows that he can, if he's confident with them and he gives them the due game time, they should be able to perform.
We got 10 points last season. Do you think we can match it or even go higher this time round with the Dubai Sevens?
I mean, anything is possible in a game of sevens. That's the beauty of sevens, and that's why, as Kenya, we've been able to compete. What the boys need to do is straight off the day one, the first game, just be switched on. Don't be wowed by the size of the crowd, by your opposition. Don't play the name, play the person in the jersey. And I think 10 points is very achievable, but like Benja said, it will be very tough, because if you look at Scotland and France, they're also looking at Kenya as an easy lay, so to speak. But
so it's something we can use to punish them as well.
Exactly. It's only 14 minutes. I mean, if you're up for it, 14 minutes, and if you're not Mwamba who waits for second half, you have a solid chance. I'll keep saying it till we start winning it.
We need points for second half results, even if it's another bonus. All right.
I wanted to tell the guys who want to get involved. I hope Bamba can be there as well. The screening of the 7th series, especially for Dubai and Cape Town, will be done live at the Junction Mall. So the guys should come together. The atmosphere will be good as well, and Bamba Sport is there to see how well we can interact and see what the fans think about the team.
We are the new home of rugby, so we definitely will be.
Of course, it will be very good. It will be very good to know.
Exactly. Very well. For the show, it's a wrap for today, gentlemen. Thank you so much for the fantastic analysis. We'll be back here next week talking about Dubai and looking at Cape Town leg as well. And of course, the Kenya Cup. After showing our 2 games live, the one against between Nondis and Strathmore. And of course, Impala as well, playing at the Impala grounds. We'll be communicating with you on our social media handles. For Try Time KE, it is a wrap for today. Let's meet again next week, same time right here. Until then, keep it sporty.